Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, an Insight. Episode 168. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, in the previous episode, we listened to the dream vision of Govinda Swami of Madras Bhajan Party, in which Sri Sai Maharaj appeared and asked, "Do you not believe in any Muslim deity?" Govinda Swami said no abruptly. Baba then continued, "Do you not have a panja in your home? Do you not worship it during Taboot? Think carefully. You also have Kad Bibi at home, whom you worship and propitiate at the time of weddings. She is a Muslim deity." Many of the listeners might not be familiar with these names. Let's now see what this panja meant. It's an image of hand. As we have 5 fingers, this hand denotes the 5 important heads of Islam. According to the 33rd Surah, that is chapter 33, the verses of the Quran denotes the 5 people that were consecrated by Allah. Those 5 are regarded as pure souls, that is, free from any bad or evil thoughts, deeds, heart is filled with compassion, ready to sacrifice for the sake of others, always has good intentions, and ever engrossed in God. They are Muhammad Nabi, Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Fatima, Hazrat Hassan, and Hazrat Hussain. These 5 saints are great and sanctified souls. To denote these 5, an image with 5 fingers shaped like a hand is made and termed as panja. Panja means panch, that is 5. This panja is kept on a flag and worshipped by a sect of Muslims, and they are known as Shia Muslims. This image is usually made of iron, and in southern India, there is a custom in few Hindu families to have this in their homes and worship during the festival. Govinda Swami has it in his house and worships it during the festival of Muharram as done by the Muslims. Sri Sai Maharaj remarks that Govinda Swami worships it on Taboot days, which was also accepted by the latter. What is meant by Taboot days? The word Taboot denotes the bear or tomb, that is, the movable frame on which a coffin or a corpse is placed before burial or cremation, or on which it is carried to the grave. This taboot is considered as the coffin on which the corpse of the great saints among the 5 mentioned above, that is Hazrat Hassan and Hazrat Hussain, were carried. On the day of Muharram festival, as per the custom, the Muslims mourn and they carry a coffin, go on a procession regarding that as the taboot. And Govinda Swami's family also had the practice of worshipping the panja on the taboot days. This is what Sri Sai Maharaj asked Govinda Swami, that don't you have panja in your home and don't you worship that on Taboot day? Govinda Swami was spellbound to hear Sri Sai Maharaj pronounce these intrinsic details of the custom that were followed in his home. Moreover, his conviction was that Sri Sai Baba was defiling the Hindus. Next, Sri Sai questioned if he was not worshipping the Muslim deity by named Kad Bibi. This is another astounding instance because in the northern part of India, the Muslims don't have the custom of worshipping goddess Kad Bibi. Similarly, the Muslims living in the south, especially in Tanjore district, worship the goddess Tulukkanachiyar. Tulukkanachiyar considered Lord Raghunath at Sri Rangam as her consort and worshipped him fervently. Like Tulukkanachiyar, another goddess that is worshipped by the South Indian Muslims is Kad Bibi. And Sri Sai Maharaj made a specific mention on the worship of the goddess Kad Bibi. At the time of Muhurta Lagna, goddess Kad Bibi's energy has to be pacified. Hence, they prepare various palatable dishes and offer it for the goddess and worship her. This is something very surprising because almost 1,500 miles away from Shirdi is Chennai, and the custom that is followed only by the Muslim community living in this part of the state was pointed out by Sri Sai Maharaj. Isn't this incredible? Is this not underscoring the omniscience of our Sadguru Sai Baba? Govinda Swami replied in affirmative for all the questions raised by Sri Sai Maharaj. Now Sri Sai Baba asked him, "Okay, leave that. Now let me know what else you need." As Govinda Swami belonged to Ramadasi Sampradaya, he said, "Baba, I have a desire to see Swami Samarthar." Immediately Sri Sai said, "Okay, close your eyes." As soon as Govinda Swami closed his eyes, Sri Sai Maharaj told him, "Look there." When he turned around, he could see Samartha Ramadas there. His joy knew no bounds. Until now, he didn't have complete faith on Sri Sai Baba. His favorite deity was Samartha Ramadas, and he worships him fervently. Lo, now Sri Sai Maharaj has bestowed his grace and gave him the darshan of his chosen God. Spellbound Ramadasi, that is Govinda Swami, lay flat on the ground to prostrate at the holy feet of Samartha Ramadas. But by then, the form of Samartha disappears. At that point, a strange thought arose in the mind of Govinda Swami. He asked Baba, "Baba, you look like an old man. What would be your age? Your skin has wrinkles and you look very old." This question is not a formal one, but out of concern and care, he began to wonder about the longevity of life of Sri Sai Maharaj. For this, Sri Sai Baba said, "What? You think I am an old man? Come on, see if you can race with me." Saying these words, Sri Sai Baba began to run as fast as he could, and this Ramadasi tried to keep up with his pace, but all in vain. Sri Sai ran so fast that dust raised everywhere and formed like a cloud, and in that cloud of dust, Sri Sai Baba disappeared. Here the dream ends and Govinda Swami woke up. Before going to sleep, this Ramadasi's sole aim was to extract as much money possible from Sri Sai Baba, and his notion about Sri Sainath was, being a Hindu, he is dishonoring the Hindus. Also, devotees might recall that this was the same person who ridiculed his wife Adilakshmi Ammal when she narrated to him that she saw Sri Ramachandra Murthy in the place of Sri Sai Baba during the noon arati. Govinda Swami said, "As you are innocent and devout, you saw what is in your heart. How can you alone see Lord Rama when all others saw the form of Sri Sai Baba? It is purely your imagination. And you are going on describing the form of Lord Rama, which is improbable. But now, through this dream, Sri Sai Maharaj brought a greater transformation in him, and now Govinda Swami is not the one who doubted the supremacy of Sri Sai Baba or the one who mocked his wife, but has become a true devotee of Sri Sainath Maharaj. All his doubts about Sri Sai vanished. His attitude also changed and now admired the greatness of Sri Sai Baba. Next morning, as usual, they went to Dwarakamai for darshan, and all these days this Madras bhajan party's desire was to get money by way of performing bhajans in the presence of Sri Sai Baba. The Lady Adilakshmi Ammal's attitude changed after she got the vision of her favorite deity, Lord Rama, and she worshipped Sri Sai Baba with loving devotion, whereas the other three craved for money. But from now, Govinda Swami's attitude also got transformed, so the bhajans that they did today was out of devotion and pure love for Sri Sai Maharaj. After they completed, they were given rupees 2 as dakshana by Sri Sai Baba along with the blessings. Allah Malik will provide all that is required for you. Though their pockets were not filled with money, these bountiful blessings and grace of Sri Sai Maharaj filled their hearts, and throughout their onward journey, day and night, their mind was established at Sai's feet. So they did not have any hassle and had a very comfortable pilgrimage. They did bhajans all throughout their journey, and with the help of the cash gifts they received, they were able to complete their pilgrimage happily and with contentment. True to the pronouncement of Sri Sai, Allah Malik will provide all that is required for you. They got more than what they needed, and all their wishes were fulfilled. Apart from the above divine experiences, few other leelas also took place. Let us heed to those now. Everyone felt that the voices of these four were very melodious and soothing to the heart, and their bhajans enraptured the audience. Sundarabai Shirsagar, alias Radha Krishna Mai, loves to sing bhajans as she was living close to Dwarakamai and came to know about the divine renditions of this bhajan party. She invited them to her home to perform bhajans. Thus, these four were blessed to sing bhajans at the residence of Sri Radha Krishna Mai. The Holy Mother enjoyed their singing and was in divine bliss, listening to the renditions. Sri Radha Krishna Mai was immensely happy, and she gifted the Marathi version of the biography of Sri Sai Baba to Govinda Swami. This divine book is preserved and treasured by the descendants of Govinda Swami. These informations were shared by the Ramadasi to Sai Leela magazine by way of letters. There is another interesting instance to this Leela. Adilakshmi Ammal's heart was filled with devotion towards Sri Sai Baba and was not willing to leave Shirdi. She decided to cook food and offer to Supreme God Sri Sai Maharaj. So she made bhaji, that is fritters and sweet porridge, took it to Dwarakamai to offer it to Sri Sai Baba. As we have heard in the previous episodes, every noon at Dwarakamai, all the food offerings will be kept in the order they were received from the devotees and placed in front of the nimbar. Then Sri Sai Maharaj would sit at the center of the nimbar, consecrate and bless the food. Later, they will be placed in the kolamba, mixed together and then distributed as prasadam. This is the practice followed at Dwarakamai. Now, Adilakshmi Ammal entered Dwarakamai with a plate of fritters and a bowl of sweet porridge. A devotee by name Durga Bai takes the charge of receiving and arranging the food offerings brought by devotees. As soon as Adilakshmi Ammal gave the food, Durga Bai kept it at the very end of the whole collection of offerings given. Adilakshmi Ammal brought this food with so much love and was anxious as her offering was kept at the extreme corner. She was worried if even Sri Sai Maharaj would taste her dish or not. Sri Sai Maharaj would always appreciate the offering made of loving devotion. He would always receive it and gulp it in no time. This we have come across in various leelas such as the mangoes offered by Pitale or peda offered by Mankar. Will the all-knowing Sri Sai Maharaj not know the heart of Adilakshmi Ammal? He slowly leaned forward from his seat and pushing the other dishes tried to reach to the plate of fritters and porridge offered by Adilakshmi Ammal and slowly pulled it towards him. Then, rather than mixing it in the kolamba, he himself ate all of it. Needless to say, the tears of joy rolled from the eyes of Adilakshmi Ammal because Sri Sai Baba didn't even eat any other food that was offered that day. Though her plate was last in the bunch, Sri Sai Maharaj, in order to bless and acknowledge her prema bhakti, performed this sport. This beautiful Leela was demonstrated by Sri Sai Maharaj on August 30th, 1915. They actually reached Shiradi on 23rd August and in a week's time, that is on 30th, this stunning sport was experienced by Adilakshmi Ammal. Her love and devotion for Sri Sai Maharaj grew leaps and bounds. Following this, Hemant Panji illustrates the divine leelas of Sri Sai Maharaj upon Tendulkar and his family. A series of experiences and blessings were showered by Sri Sai Baba upon this family. Savitribai Raghunath Tendulkar reaped immense grace of Sri Sai Maharaj. What kind of blessings was she bestowed with? Then, their son Babu Tendulkar was reluctant to appear for his MBBS exams, believing in the words of the astrologer that he would not pass his exams this year. Hence, he didn't prepare for it. But he was guided and blessed by Sri Sai Maharaj at the appropriate time. What were those guidance and blessings? Moreover, for Raghunath Tendulkar, at the time of his retirement, how did Sri Sai Baba grace him to get a reasonable amount as a pension? These unfathomable leelas are beautifully explicated by Hemant Panji in this chapter. Before we dwell deep into these enigmatic leelas, let us first have an intro of Raghunath Tendulkar. He was an ardent devotee of Sri Sai Maharaj. They were residing in a place known as Bandra in Mumbai. This is in the outskirts of Mumbai. Earlier, it was a part of Thane district. At their residence, they had a tree known as Bakul, and it would bear abundance of flowers that were filled with fragrance. But they bloom only for 3 months in a year. Then the flowers would start to wane off. His wife Savitribai Tendulkar was also greatly devoted to Sri Sai Maharaj, and their son is Babu Tendulkar. Savitribai Tendulkar compiled the various divine leelas of Sri Sai Maharaj, and the compilation was titled as Sainath Bhajanmala, and they are written in the form of 800 padas and abhangs. The reason for using this style of devotional poetry is because this family belongs to the Varkari Sampradaya, which means their family deity is Lord Panduranga at Pandharpur, and at least once in a year they must go to Pandharpur on foot. And all the songs or poetic verses that were penned praising the glory of Lord Panduranga were written as abhangs and padas. All the kirtans of Tukaram were termed as Tukaram abhangs. Hence, Savitribai Tendulkar followed the family tradition in penning down the Leelas of Sri Sainath Maharaj in the form of abhangs and padas. This book is a great treasure to Sai Bhaktas as it comprises of the experiences bestowed by Sri Sai Maharaj upon Savitribai Tendulkar, and it extols the divinity of Sri Sai Baba. This book is available in stores for purchase. We can ponder more upon the grace showered by Sri Sai Maharaj upon this family in detail in the coming episode. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.